Hey students, this is lesson 722. We're going to do a few problems here. We're going to learn how to deal with inequalities. And what you're going to find is that in general you can solve inequalities just like you solve equations. There's just one spot where you're going to have to just be a little bit careful. And I'll give you an example of that right now. So let's just look at an inequality that's true. 1 is less than 2, right? Now, if I were to add the same number to both sides, like say I add 3 to both sides, I end up with 4 and 5, and 4 is less than 5. So in that case, the inequality is the same after adding the same thing to both sides. If I subtract, you can see I end up going back where I came from. I now have 1 and 2, and 1 is less than 2. So subtracting doesn't change the sign. But there are a couple cases where, let's check multiplication and division, see what happens. So we start again with 1 is less than 2. And let's say, what if I double both these? So multiply both these by 2. Then I get 2 and 4, and 2 is less than 4. That's true. What if I would have multiplied by negative 2? Then I end up with negative 2 and negative 4, and here's where I have to be a little bit careful. Negative 2 is not less than negative 4. Negative 2 is actually greater than negative 4. And so I can multiply by negative 2, but I need to check the sign then and make sure that I reverse it when I'm doing that. Now there's one other operation that would cause that also. And you could probably guess that dividing by negative numbers also causes problems. If I were to divide both these by negative 2, then 1 divided by negative 2 is negative 0.5. 2 divided by negative 2 is negative 1. And negative 0.5 is actually greater than negative 1. And if you're confused about that, just think about a number line. Here we have 0, here we have negative 1, and negative 0.5 is right there. And remember, the further right you are, the greater you are, so negative 0.5 is greater than negative 1. And those are the only things you need to worry about when you're solving inequalities. If you multiply or divide by a negative, you must reverse the sign. So let's just put a note right here above our homework. When multiplying or dividing by a negative, reverse the inequality symbol. And just so I make sure you have a chance to practice that, I'll choose a problem right now where that happens. And right number 5, it's going to happen. So let's say we just subtract 12 from both sides, no big deal. So now we have negative 5x. And subtracting a number from both sides, that's not going to change the sign. 37 minus 12 is 25. Now we're going to divide by negative 5. And right now we have x. If I didn't reverse the sign, let's just think about it. So I'm going to look at negative 5 on a number line. And I'm going to think of numbers that are greater than negative 5, like 0. Does that make this true or not? So like if I put 0 in for x, so I do negative 5 times 0 plus 12. And I just want to know if this is true or not. Negative 5 times 0 is 0, plus 12 is 12. Is 12 less than or equal to 37? And that's true. So numbers on this side of negative 5 are true. In other words, numbers that are greater than negative 5 are true, greater than or equal to negative 5. So notice I had to switch the sign. And if you just remember the rule that as soon as you multiply or divide by a negative, like we did in this step right here, you need to switch the sign. if I'm doing a problem like number 4, maybe I'll start by dividing both sides by 5, and that gets rid of this multiplication by 5 there, so then I get e minus 2 is greater than 2. And then I'm just going to add 2 to both sides, and I get e is greater than 4. And then I just want to check if that's true. So what I'm saying is any number greater than 4, so numbers like 5, 6, 7, 8, will make this true. So I'm just going to check one of those and make sure. You can even do a bigger number than that, like say 10. 10 is greater than 4, so 10 I should be able to put in for e, and it'll make it true. So I'm going to do 5 times 10 minus 2, see if that's greater than 10. That's 5 times 8. And that's certainly true because 5 times 8 is 40, and 40 is greater than 10. So it looks like we got the sign right on that one. And notice we did not have to switch the sign on that one. So you can actually choose any method you want for solving these, like working backwards. In this one, we could just work backwards. We could do 10 times 5 is 50, minus 2 is 48. We could say g is greater than 48 for that one. Or you could solve these by doing the same thing to both sides. When you have a compound inequality like in number 1, you actually have 3 things going on. We could just do the same thing to all parts of that. So if we add 2 to everything, we get -1. Adding 2 will not change the sign, so I can just write down the same sign. H minus 2 plus 2 is just h. And 1 plus 2 is 3, and then we have a solution. We know exactly what h is. H has to be between -1 and 3 for that one. All right, let's look at some other problems here. So number 7 looks like a good one to check out. So we're going to solve -2 times the quantity d minus 1 is less than or equal to 10. We could start by doing one of 2 things. We could use the distributive property and multiply -2 times both terms inside the parenthesis, or we could divide both sides by -2 to start with. Your choice. I'm going to multiply. -2 times -1 is +2. That's less than or equal to 10. Now I'm going to subtract 2 from 10, and I get -2d is less than or equal to 8. Now I'm going to divide by -2, and I get d is less than or equal to -4. And I'm going to just check my answer, because I remember there's something about negatives, and I'm not sure that that's correct. So I'm saying numbers less than or equal to -4 will make this true. So numbers like -10 should make this true. So I'm going to put that back in. And notice that d is less than or equal to -4 is one of the choices, B. But when I check this, so I'm going to do -2 times -10 minus 1 and see if that's less than or equal to 10. And that makes -10 minus 1 is -11 times -2 is +22, less than or equal to 10. That is not right. 22 is not less than or equal to 10. And that's where I'm going to go back and say, where did I make a mistake here? And whoa, right here, I divided both sides by negative. When you do that and you're working with inequalities, you have to switch the sign. So I should have said right here, greater than or equal to -4. So like 0 is greater than or equal to -4. I'll just check that real quick in my original equation. I'll put 0 minus 1 less than or equal to 10. And 0 minus 1 is a -1 times -2 is +2. 2 is less than or equal to 10. That is definitely true. So I think I got the right idea here. Now, and I want to change that answer to greater than or equal to -4. All right. That's it for this video. We'll work on the other problems in class. See you tomorrow.